If you've ever applied for a trucking job and wondered why you got turned down while another driver got hired, pull up a chair. Let's talk about it. Because a lot of drivers believe the best trucking companies are desperate for drivers, and some aren't. But the best jobs, the jobs everybody talks about at the truck stop, the dedicated accounts, the private fleets, the home weekly jobs paying top dollar. Those jobs usually aren't hiring everybody. And there's a reason for that. One of the biggest misconceptions in trucking is that every company is looking for the same thing. They're not. A company running high turnover freight may hire a driver with a few rough spots on their record. A premium carrier with 10 applicants for every opening doesn't have to. They can be selective, and they usually are. Now, before anybody gets upset, I'm not saying you need a perfect record. Very few drivers have a perfect record. What I'm saying is that every mark on your history matters when you're competing for the jobs everybody wants. One speeding ticket, one preventable accident, 3 jobs in 1 year, a long employment gap. Maybe none of those things automatically disqualify you, but they can move you behind another driver who doesn't have them. Think about it this way. If a company has 10 openings and 100 applicants, they're not trying to decide who can drive a truck. They're trying to decide which 10 drivers look like the safest investment. That's a completely different question. I see drivers make this mistake all the time. They'll tell me, "Sarge, I've got 10 years of experience." That's great. Experience matters, but experience by itself doesn't guarantee anything. I've seen drivers with 3 years of clean, stable experience get hired before drivers with 15 years who bounce from company to company every 6 months. Why? Because stability matters. Companies want to know what you're going to do tomorrow, not just what you did yesterday. Another thing drivers underestimate is job history. If you've changed jobs 5 times in 2 years, the company starts asking questions. Maybe every move made sense. Maybe every company truly was a bad fit. But from the carrier's perspective, they're wondering if you'll still be there 6 months from now. And that's a fair question. The same thing applies to accidents and violations. A driver may say, "That accident was 3 years ago." The company may say, "We have 50 applicants without one." That's the reality of competition. Now let's talk about something most drivers don't want to hear. The best jobs are often harder to get because they're better jobs. The company knows drivers want them. The drivers already working there don't leave very often. Turnover is low. Openings are limited. That means every position becomes more valuable. And when something becomes more valuable, the standards usually go up. I've recruited for a long time, and I've watched drivers spend years building a record that made them attractive to better carriers. Not because they were lucky, not because they knew somebody, because they made smart decisions over time. They protected their CDL. They stayed employed. They showed up. They kept learning. They avoided unnecessary risk. And eventually those opportunities opened up. So what should you do if you're not getting the job you want? First, stop assuming every rejection means you're a bad driver. It doesn't. Sometimes another applicant simply looks stronger on paper. That's business. Second, take an honest look at your record. Not the version you tell yourself, the version a safety department sees. How many jobs have you had? Any accidents? Any tickets? Employment gaps? Failed drug tests? License issues? Look at it honestly. Third, start building the record you want to have 2 years from now. A lot of drivers focus on next week's paycheck. The drivers who land the best opportunities focus on protecting their future options. Every decision matters. Every ticket matters. Every job change matters. Every conversation matters. Here's the truth. Most companies aren't looking for perfect drivers. They're looking for drivers who make good decisions consistently over time. That's what separates average careers from great careers. The best trucking jobs usually aren't hiring everybody, and that's okay. Because if you protect your CDL, build a stable work history, and keep making good decisions, you'll put yourself in a position to compete when those opportunities come along. And when they do, you'll be ready. Drive safe, make good decisions, and I'll see you at the next truck stop.